All right, yo. So we just broke the New York low. Welcome to the stream. My name is Steven. Obviously, we're just firing up. So if you're watching this later, that's awesome. We got two markets coming up on two hot levels right now. The market is moving down. Okay, so first things first, let's bring this up to the higher screen. We're gonna get right into it. All right, so this is a 40 tick chart. Usually I use this during New York daytime session. What we can see here is we just broke the New York session low. We're getting a little rejection here. That's a big strong wick. So we're going to enter two contracts to the upside. We bounced off this selling level where it looks like sellers are no longer here. Okay, and we're going to take a long back up to about 29,150. All right, from a CVD standpoint, there's negative CVD. We could definitely continue to the downside. Okay, so but we have some weekly levels where buyers stepped in right here. And honestly, we have a longer time trend line. We also have this level right here where I think we could revisit. So it's a pretty small trade, two micro contracts. Now that we're in the trade, risking a little negative risk to reward ratio here, unless we so we're going to go to a 1 hour. Actually, let's go to a daily time frame. Just going to do a little analysis here. Okay, so on the daily short, okay, so it'd be lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And this is a new day right here. So ZTH, so it's going from 1800 each day, not RTH. But you can see we continue to make lower highs. However, we made a higher low right there. and buyers stepped in and sellers were absorbed. Guess we already have our stop here. It's a lot of risk to take on, right? So we won't do it. So for the week, we have multiple levels where buyers stepped in. Kind of feel like we need to go here. I don't want to take on too much more risk. I'd rather get stopped out and take another shot if I think it's going to keep going down. Let's go to a 5-minute. This isn't the best chart to look at. All right, so a little bit of a preemptive entry. Best case scenario, we get a rejection right here. Worst case scenario, return to this low volume node. These sellers have disappeared and we get a turnaround here. Best case scenario is already over. We broke the lows, jumped in, and next best scenario is that these sellers get absorbed and price starts to move up. Not sure how confident I am about that, but we'll see what happens. We're fairly extended to the downside. Willing to take on a little bit of risk here to take a shot. Damn, that's crazy. We get in a trade immediately at stream start. I'm gonna look at gold. Looking to see how we get a reaction from here. I'm likely interested in getting into a long. On a retest and a fail of this trend line. This is a longer term trend line on a 15-minute. Also had buyers step in here before. This was a zone where we spent a great deal of time ranging. So it looks like we tapped into 50% of this range before leaving it. This could be the turnaround point right here as well. We tapped into this high volume point of control from a couple days back, and we turn around. This could be a bigger move to the upside. Lots of aggressive selling here. But we're gonna get in. This is take profit trader account. See if we can take this back up. To the VWAP for the session. So $100 trade, stop loss. So we want to put it behind this zone right here. There's still more room to the downside. Always is. This is one micro gold contract. And we'll check back in with this later. little preemptive on the entry. So I think our ultimate target is here. We'll see how that plays out. I've been drinking enough water. I need to go grab some water. All right, so we will split screen this and see how it turns out. So one account's trading gold, the other account's trading NASDAQ, and let's see what happens. It's a really strong push on the gold. So here on the gold, I drew a volume profile, spans across a few days, and we basically bounced off the point of control, highest volume area. After being overstretched to the downside. And simply playing it back to the session VWAP. Yeah, I wanted to see it push straight up there, so we're just going to lock in that profit. There is a pretty strong selling node here. Obviously, this is a 15-minute chart, so definitely get back in. Have another view that's better. It's not being married. Paying attention to the order flow. So this is on the 40 range. So when we see this strong rejection, just pause for a minute, come back into a higher high. We get some aggressive buying here. We're back in. Look down on S&P 500, 20, probably a 21 range might be better. But want to add in price line here. Extend it so we can actually see it. See where price is. We could definitely see some. Sorry about the cracking ice there. Here's what we could definitely see here. We could see some consolidation before. But usually when gold rips to the opposite direction, it really goes. So looks like it's trying. Same thing over here with NASDAQ. We did have some buying pressure step in here. Not a ton of selling. More buyers on the weekly. Have some buyers right here. Actually, lots of aggressive sellers. A little bit of absorption there, which I like after breaking a significant low, which may trigger a reversal back to the mean. That's the plan. All right, so if I think this is going to consolidate for a while, I may just get out of the position. I was looking for a quick rip back up after sweeping or tapping into that longer term point of control for gold on the left. Change to 5 minutes. You can see this big push, right? So we're holding the top of this range. So on the 5 minutes, a little clearer. On the, let's go 54 range. Let's try that. That's a nice view too. We can see the point of control of every candle is moving higher. Right? We had a strong push down here. This level right here was the point of control several times, probably to return to here for a test. See if the SPX evening options levels are in play, and they are. This chart's a little busy. This is a 15-minute chart. A little longer term. This is a 21 range, so a little bit. 21 ticks, principal bar. Hell, we could probably put this on like 8 range, to be honest. Give us a little bit of structure. Okay, we're gonna lock in 25. Maybe get into another long if the opportunity presents itself. Put in a lower point of control. Yeah, I actually like that print. 16 to 7. Got a little bit of a battle going on right here. So likely consolidation happening. Still nickel and dimed it, man. So I'm perfectly fine just exiting trades. It's getting a little bit jumpy. Let's see if we can see it to here. Close it out. 60. See it drop right back down, right? So starting to get a little bit of a consolidation here. Nasdaq's a little bit slower to move, so we're basically consolidating again. It's a little early. Jumped the gun a little bit early. I'm really good at that, by the way. One of my best attributes is being early to the party, which is not probably one of my worst attributes. It's not the best thing to be early to the party. All right, we're gonna get out of this trade here. So when you're wrong, you just got to get out. So we can see here we have this consolidation in gold. Looking for some momentum. You look down at S&P, still more room to go to get to the New York lows. Sellers got absorbed. Let's see if we get some aggressive buying stepping into, and whether or not the sellers can continue to push the price down. You can see over here on gold as well, right there. We're in this what I called a break, taking a little break. These stops that get triggered. Buyers that become sellers at the bottom, pushes the price down a few ticks lower before it reverses. But I am not jumping in, trying to catch the bottom here. Making new lows on the daily. How far can we go? On the weekly, this was the last level of massive buying. Right here. Of a small level right here where price could also react. But we rip through aggressive buyers here to continue downward. So I still think we have more room to the downside. think I'm gonna potentially short this. You got this value area high or low. We get a little bit of a pullback and then retest this area where we're trying to break through. It's probably a good time, since we're looking at NQ, to open up Deep Dom. While that opens, I'll put it back on the main screen. So you see we're in this consolidation area, and that's where I exited in profit. We'll look at NQ. Gold is just still. Trade on MNQ. 2 contracts. Since we're not in gold right now, we're gonna shift our focus to NQ. So now we're looking at our 5-minute chart and our real-time order flow. I'm gonna have to mute the mic for a second. I had to sneeze. So high volatility right now, according to the application. Looks like we have more aggressive selling down here that got absorbed. That's basically this here. Again, I'm keeping an eye on S&P 500. I do think there's more room to the downside. Got about 9 more points to the lows in S&P 500. I'd like to get in a short continuation to the downside. Early in the week, we had lots of selling pressure down here. We come back to S&P 500. I think these GEX levels aren't as important at night, but I don't know. I think they're still good reference points. So, I think there's a little more room to the downside. Like we had 942 and 498 aggressive buys and 942 aggressive sells. All right, I'm still not convinced here. Sellers pushing the price back down. Think I think that's the level. We're going to sell one. Buyers got absorbed. Sellers stepped in. I think third time's a charm. One contract, 38 ticks. Just ranging back and forth here, right? I have no idea. Okay, small trade. Let's see if sellers got absorbed. Made a little progress, but there's a little liquidity here, but a little bit more than to the upside. So S&P is still tracking down. I think we have a little more room to go. Sometimes this order flow is nice. Just take some small scalps, just get a lot of small trades in, and hopefully find an edge. It's hard to trade NASDAQ on. I think it's hard to trade on a very short time frame. So sellers absorbed. Limit buyers, buy limit buyers pushing the price up, happen again. They broke through and they're pushing lower. Okay, buyers are stepping back in. Sellers got absorbed once, sellers got absorbed twice. Buyers starting to make some progress. Would like to see this high get taken. And then a little bit of a pullback to here. Little pullback to here. Okay, so high is taken. Okay. First step. It's here. Yeah, I smell a reversal. I'd like to get a little pullback here though. Maybe I should pull the chat up. So we're here every day grinding. All right. No bullshit. Not pimping out codes. Just straight trying to make the best of the situation, knowing that we're pretty imperfect. All right, so as expected, I'd like to see a pullback. See, this is tricky. Like, probably like there. Because this is probably like right there. So I'm gonna try to bottom tick this. See if we get the exact entry. Not that that matters, but that's our goal, is to get the perfect entry on this reversal. To see if it's even possible to predict where price is going to bounce from with any amount of accuracy above and beyond a 50% coin flip. What we can see on the weekly on S&P is that there was all this aggressive buying, right, on the week and on the day, which is right now the New York or the overnight session. It's more selling, more aggressive selling, but buyers are are still around. And then you got options dealers that need to hedge their exposure. Still not convinced or have enough experience about how to use these options levels in the best way. But do our best. So as we wait for NQ to come down to our level, what I think I'm going to do here, instead of just enter, is we'll bring up the panel and we'll mark it, smash it as soon as we see another absorption, either a little bit higher. You can see this one kind of broke in a little bit deeper, right? So sellers are making progress, right? Sellers here rewarded, sellers down here were not. Some of these could have been buyers that turned into sellers because of stop losses. So we have to factor that in. Lots of buy orders here too that were absorbed, that pushed the price up, or basically absorbed all of the sellers that were interested in doing business down here, pushing the price back up. This is likely a stop run right here. Okay, so we're getting close to our level. We're going to be looking very closely right here at the order flow for an absorption. See if sellers having a hard time making progress, maybe some buyers stepping in, and we're in. Okay, that's enough for me. You can't spend too much time. So we have this absorption here to, I don't know, am I on the right screen? You have this I just entered here, price came down. Buyers absorbed at this level, price came up a little bit. I entered right here. When I saw some aggressive buying, also step in. You can see that we have a lot of aggressive buying in this zone, so it's a pretty solid zone. We've had absorptions down here, followed by a pretty strong move up. So that's 166 ticks. The 192 ticks. That looks pretty good to me, honestly. So let's see how it plays out. Here for a good time, not a long time. So 40 ticks is 10 points, right? If we can get 50 points out of it, if we can get what? That's a lot of points. I definitely think we can get up to 29,150. That's, I mean, if we look over here, this is where aggressive buyers stepped in again. This is where some sellers were too. So, I mean, a realistic target is probably right here, right there. So we can move that up a little bit. See how that works out. Getting a little push back down. Sellers are trying. We need some absorption here. We need to soak up all these orders and keep moving up. So sellers are getting absorbed higher, so maybe they're losing a little bit of steam. And buyers are looking to break through the next level. Right here. S&P is a lot slower. Okay, sellers are still here. They're trying. It's not, I think buyers have the edge here, but it's not over. I mean, it could still go lower. S&P looks like it doesn't really want to move any lower at the moment. Just move down one more tick. Okay, it looks... Well, obviously I'm on the 15-minute, so everything moves pretty slow. So it just ticked up quarter point, tick down a quarter point. It's not really moving, so S&P is kind of just right where it's at. Okay, move down another tick. All right, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so what I'm looking at is down here is S&P 500 options levels, market maker GEX exposure levels, the GEX exposure profile for market makers, and total volume. Okay, so this side's market makers. Actually, this is more of a, it's acceleration. So price is going to move slow back up this way, right? And if we can make it back up here, it'll start to accelerate. Just bounce off and just kind of stay here. Check in with gold real quick. Okay, gold's starting to move out of that consolidation range. That's the wrong chart though. It's the 15-minute. That's the one. So we moved out of that consolidation and we actually hit that target that we were going for before. Now we made this higher high, right? Broke out this little range. Right here. Made a higher high. First leg. So here's how I would equate this. Make this range. Come back to about here. And continue up. So on take profit, we're going to put a limit buy right here. Stop loss here. Take profit at the 70. See how that works out. See if we get filled. I like this plan though. All right, we'll put gold back down. So we're still at the entry here. Nothing new to report. Fill out the entry. Promising thing though is we have some aggressive buyers stepping in here. All right, so we have some protection. If we did it as a zone, we have this entire zone right here with no interest below it, right? So it's just, there was no business down here. Okay, after this absorption, price came back down, no more business to be had here, so price is going to go up. So I really like this trade. That's kind of clear. Not often is it that clear. Like today, I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. Okay, so we are now gonna trail our stop. We're not putting it into profit yet, right? But we're gonna put it behind the swing low. All right, we made higher low, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, we're about to break through this level again and hopefully continue higher. Will likely allow me to move my stop to take on even less risk. But to be safe, I'm going to put it behind the protected low as opposed to the local low. Actually, this is the local low now. So price is moving. We're in for 2 contracts, 250 ticks. It's 30 points. So it's like $120. $2 a point, 30 points, 60 points times 2, $120. We still have aggressive buyers here, some sellers stepping in, but we do have buying interest up here, and we did break the level. Okay, so we broke it. Broke the level with aggressive buying. It's okay if it comes back to the entry. Actually, man, I want to get on this trade on take profit. We're just going to go 1 contract and we're going to try to ride this bad boy up to however high we can. We don't know where it's going to go. So we're just going to ride this train up. Okay, coming back to our main account. Okay, something interesting down here on the ES chart with the options levels. We have a heat map down here. These are all 0 data expirations. You can notice that in this highly colored positive GEC exposure level, we tapped into it, right? But we couldn't get through it. The brakes were put on, and now we're slowly moving through this positive gex level. If we can make it up to the point of control and not get rejected back lower, we could definitely see ourselves ranging between the point of control and the VWAP for a while before price either rejects to come back and retest this low, or alternatively we get some buying pressure, price accelerates through these levels up into 78.94. Trade what you see. So right now, on ES, I kind of want to wait on this. But if we go to our NQ trade, let's see how good our levels are. I'm not going to move it to break even yet. Right, so I expected a reaction, but I think we can push it a little bit higher to here. Obviously that's the 21-day linear the regression line price tends to eventually come back to before leaving it in one direction. There's so many of these lines, right? Negative CVD is going up, or CVD is going up and price is going up with it. So aggressive buyers are pushing the price up. Down here we had aggressive buying, we had aggressive sellers that got absorbed. So this is kind of like very protected. Not only did it get absorbed once, it got absorbed sellers here too, right? And they made a little bit of progress, came back, and it's having a hard time breaking through this area right here. We actually tapped right into 50% of that area, came up, and then we're starting to work our way up higher. Hopefully. So we're not going to give up on this trade because we could have taken profit, but we have our target somewhere. Now, a lot of times I'm so goddamn scared of losing my profits, I just cut my good trades off way too early. And I know I do it. It's so ingrained in the back of the head that hopefully doing this live on YouTube with a record of it keeps me from being a dummy. All right? Because there's no reason for me to get out of the trade. Once in a while, if I took a bad entry, that's a different story. But if I really like my plan and I really like the setup, I should just like let it go, right? Just let it ride. Now, technically, if we're going by the 5-minute chart, right? You want to put your stop behind the last swing low. Okay, something like that, or it could be below the 21. Since we don't have one right now, I'm gonna put it below here, right? That's the best place to put it. Right, it's the best place to put it. Now this would be my secondary target, and I do think price can get there. So, but we do have some sellers that stepped in right here. So this area right here is going to be a challenge. I don't think it's just run through it. This is the area where, I mean, technically it's all the way up here, back at this trend line. I mean, technically, can we make much more? I think we can. So we're gonna sell one there. Sell one there. It's way better. We'll follow it up, stop in profit. We make it past our first, well, if we make it to our first TP, we will make it to our first TP, we'll move our stop to break even and lock in the 64 with a shot to get another 180, 199. Or if we get up into this green zone, I may take it early, but I mean, I'm looking for this area. This would be optimum if we can make it all the way up here, but this is more realistic, like right there, because there's a lot of selling traffic here. Okay, no problem on this. This looks like completely normal to me. Like this looks healthy. So this is like it's like the market is just algorithming out in the way that it likes to do it at this time of the night. I actually want to add one. That's how confident I am. Then we have better options, right? Then we can at 2148. Right there. And then we'll take one more. $29,200, somewhere around there. So that feels right to me. Stop. If this really starts going south, because this could retrace all the way down into this zone and retest these absorbed sellers right here. So I mean, it could, but highly likely. And if we break through it, then it's going lower, and we want to be out of it. So we're taking on a little more risk. We have multiple thousands of drawdown on this account. I think this is a really good fucking setup. So I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is. Mind on my money and my money on my mind. I like it. Yo, if anybody's out there listening to me babble to myself, give me a sign of intelligent life forms out there. Let me know if you can identify or resonate with the way I think about and look at the charts, if it connects with you in some way that is actually useful. Or do you see something completely different? Okay, so checking in on S&P. I forgot we were on a gold trade. We have to check that too, right? Hopefully that's going in the right direction. So S&P 500, we're pretty much just in slowdown mode here, right? Not much is going on. While we're getting a little bit more movement in the NASDAQ. Now, something interesting here is that, I mean, this really is the level where sellers were before, right? But we had some aggressive selling here. So I kind of want to front run it. I don't want to take a chance. We had a lot of aggressive selling here. So I'm more confident taking it here. And then I think it's going to pull back. And if we take our 2 in profit here, if we don't get stopped out, right, then we move it to break even and we're free rolling, trying to make another 157, and it's a win-win. So I really like this trade. CVD is moving up with price, and there is some aggressive momentum still pushing price higher. Although subtle, it's probably more algorithmic in nature, right? And we're just gonna let it ride. We don't have to be right. We just need to stick to our plan. It's something I need to learn. Dude, I have to trade on stream too, and there's a reason. Even if nobody's watching, it doesn't matter, because if I don't, I trade like a buffoon. I didn't want to say monkey, but I trade like a buffoon, like an idiot, a complete idiot. It's like my alter ego comes out, and I just don't. It's all feeling based trading. And like these right here were all, I mean, we're still not there, but I'd be super happy if both of these work out. Because if we break this range right here, we're going to tap into here. Then we're going to come down back into the range. Okay, hopefully it doesn't break the range because that's where my entry is. Hopefully it only retraces like 70%. And then it's going to keep going up all the way and do the same shit until we get to my target. So that's kind of how I see it playing out. And the other way it plays out is that it just bounces right here and I don't even get it. Then it comes back and then it starts going this way. And the other thing that it could do, to be fair, is just consolidate for a while. But I don't think that's as likely. Okay, S&P looks good. Price is still moving up. And if we get this first profit target coming back to S&P, we could start to see some acceleration if we can break through the VWAP. So if we can get above the VWAP for the overnight session VWAP, volume weighted average price, so technically it's VWAP, we can expect with these negative GEX levels, these are accelerators, we could expect if we don't get a rejection here, the price is going to go higher. And I think it could likely come all the way back to retest up here. I think we're on this chart. I think it could come all the way back up. It could do a full rotation. Okay, so going back to our chart. Looks like we hit our first TP. So we locked in 2, right? And now we're going to put our stop in profit. Lock in our trade. And then we're trying to get another 144 on top. So that's a winning trade. This is wrong though. It's one contract. So we locked in 2. Right. And let's go to our take profit. Right, we want to follow this one up. Okay, we're just following it up. It's 80 ticks already. That's a mistake. I think we give it some room. I think we just put it into profit. Maybe here 30 ticks, and then we just let it go. Let this one cook. All right, so I can get rid of these scenarios. Because these scenarios, you just want to click on the line, dude. Please just let me know I'm blind, but this is all looking good. Right, but remember I said I do anticipate a retracement. We just don't want it to come all the way. We want it to come like here. Okay, we want it to come like right there. Okay, that would be the best scenario for us. Oh, I said this, right? We should get a response here. That's where we're probably going to come back down. And maybe that's a good place to take a... Maybe that's a good place. Are they still there? We can see. Are they still there? It's not the biggest node though, but I know we're going to get a retracement, but I think we're safe. So we're gonna try to hold. It's a free roll. It's a free roll. It's like lock in profits, or for the opportunity to double it. All right, so we're still moving up. Sellers got absorbed. Now we locked in 80. Now we're locking in 80 ticks. I'm just gonna lock the 80 in. And I do expect it to accelerate upwards a little bit soon. So we're starting to get into this negative GEX exposure level, and we above the point of control, headed towards the VWAP. We could rip right through the VWAP up to the value area high. And that was on S&P 500. So my thought is we're going to keep going up to hopefully 29,200. We gotta check in on our gold trade. Probably losing it. I don't think I put a stop on it, so let's hope all of our profits aren't gone. Okay, we're gonna move this up to 100 ticks. Let's check in on gold. This is not good. Oh. We never got filled. That's what happened. We're still waiting to get filled. Just didn't come back. I think I'm gonna close it out. That was where I wanted to come back to. And my levels are good though. Look at that. My levels are real good. I mean, it could be retest, right? Generally downtrend. It's like that though. Uptrend, got lots more room. Pretty good. Shit, I want to get in right now, but my risk would be way too high. Just the problem. Because we're only going to go about this much farther. And I need to risk below this zone. That's not a asymmetrical advantage. Just see what happens. Maybe we bounce here and then come back down lower, right? Back down to retest this level right here. Or here. Sweep the high in reverse. That might be attractive. Okay, let's get rid of that. So we're gonna lock in 124 points. So we still haven't cleared this candle. Well, it's not that candle, it's this candle. Okay. But coming back to S&P, what you can see is now we're having an extension. And it's moving fast. Once we got out of this zone right here, this was slow. This is moving fast and accelerating. So we kind of ripped through the point of control for the session, which is kind of low, right? We had some consolidation here, two-way trade, failed to go lower, bounced, and now we're working our way back up, probably to test these levels up a little bit higher in the basically the value area high. So good, very good trade. Very good trade idea for once in the life. Using multiple tools and keeping it fairly simple, and getting a little creative with the entries, locking in some profit, taking on a little more risk. All right, so now I think here is the time where we move base it off these levels here. I can kind of see what's going on. 57. So worst case, we lock in another 61 bucks. Okay, we rip through this. Sellers aren't here anymore. All right, sellers are just not here anymore. Now we're gonna lock in more profit. So move this up to 66. Locking in another 80 of profit. And coming back to S&P, you can see how we're accelerating right through these zones. We're basically accelerating to the other side because of these negative gamma exposure levels, and there's some hedging going on by market. Even at night, it's happening. Like, these levels matter at night. Okay, for me, what I'm noticing is that these levels matter at night. Okay, they matter. They still work just like they do in the day. It's a little slower sometimes, but it works. Okay, so this is way the hell up here. Okay, we're gonna lock in some more. 175. We have a lot of aggressive buyers here, so we're still protected, right? We have lots of safety. If it rips through all of this, then so be it. So now we're at 2170. Not going to say that those levels are the holy grail or anything like that. I'm just saying that certain things happen when they enter those areas, or they're more likely to happen, or I'm noticing them happen a lot. So we're just going to be forward testing that while we trade. Essentially, look, more sellers got absorbed, even up here. All right, so sellers are getting absorbed. I feel like the markets, the options market, even at night, they're trying to they're trying to hedge to reduce their exposure. And once it balances out, things calm down. All right, so some selling is happening here. But I'm going to tell you, when I look at the delta profile, I think it comes all the way up here. Okay, it comes all the way up here. It should hit my stop and then some. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't mean it will. So we got some more sellers trying to step in, and buyers are just absorbing it and pushing it higher. To me, this is the options dealers hedging their exposure in underlying markets. And I could be crazy. It's a theory, nothing more. Yeah, I don't think the big selling push is going to come here. I think it's going to go all the way up. And if not, we're going to let it happily stop us out. Let's check in on gold. So gold is moving up. The 15-minute. So we just missed the entry. It just never came back for us, right? We wanted to buy a pullback, but we could still get it. Okay, because let's look at the other chart. Nope, that was the right one. We could still get it. I don't know how we came up with this line though. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, did I do this? Really? Did I do that? Oh, it's on another chart. That's why. Okay. It didn't look like that to me before. It's about to go crazy. Something's weird with it. It's not on another chart. Okay, anyways. Just can't delete them, so that makes no sense to me. Can't delete them. Why? Oh, they locked? No, they're not locked. Oh my god. For some reason I can't right click. There it is. Let's just get rid of them. What? It's not on this chart? Did we do it here? Okay, so the good news is we hit our target. All right. So $140 on take profit. We're up 217. And let's look where price bounces here. All right. So that was the level that we picked. All right. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but we picked this level because this is where the selling started to get heavy. So we took our take profit here, and it can definitely go higher, and it's likely going to take out these highs, okay, or come back and I think there's a trend line or some shit over here. Yeah, that's old. Let's get rid of that. Irrelevant. So that was a crazy trade. All right, so it worked out essentially perfect, even though we missed the gold trade. And it's still going, right? There's still room. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna try to fight. Get rid of all this here for a minute, and we're just gonna go off these levels. I'm not gonna fight this whole area here where aggressive sellers were here. Okay, I'm not gonna fight that whole area. As a matter of fact, I would be prone to take a short here to come back down to maybe 29,815. But I don't know what the probability on that is, but I think that could happen. Right, but we have to assume these sellers are still here. Okay. These sellers are still here. That's what we have to assume. And there's more above on the weekly. But for the moment, buyers are getting absorbed now. Okay. Now we can see buyers getting absorbed. And if we come back to the S&P, I'm gonna have to get off soon. My neck hurts. But I think that was a good trade for the night. Probably call it good and get to bed early. It's only 9 o'clock. Shit, a lot of trading time left. So if we look at S&P, right, we really accelerated up into this level area where we're still accelerating. We came up to this high negative exposure level for market makers. If we can break through it, we're likely to continue to extend up. But there is a chance that there's no more interest here and we rip down instead, right? Or not rip down, but turn around and work our way back down. We could accelerate down and then slow down and retest this consolidation our accumulation area that we then sent price higher. Right now it looks like we're accelerating through it still, right? And buyers are still winning. Okay, so there's a lot of aggressive buying here at the top, and trying to push price higher. Who's doing that and why are they doing it? Well, I'm going to argue we've got all these aggressive buyers and stuff at the top here. We're at this negative exposure level. Trying to, market makers might be trying to hedge their exposure here at the top, right? So as we get up in this zone, eventually we're going to slow down. Eventually. But we still look like we're accelerating. And we'll start to slow down right here. So could also accelerate back down towards the blue area. And we got sellers stepping in pretty heavy here on this delta node, but price sellers stepping in. I'll get rid of this zone. Sellers stepping in right here. Buyers too, right? Just got wrecked. So price is still accelerating through these GEX levels up to the next level. So fuck, we could have held that trade way longer. Damn, I thought that was good. Room for improvement. So this right here is where I would be looking. Maybe sell. I guess this was New York though. So technically we could break the New York highs. Well, that was good, y'all. So we learned some shit today. We're gonna call it a night. Too much trading. We learned some shit on the GEX levels. We've watched price accelerate through these negative market maker GEX exposure levels. We watched it slow down and resist going lower. It doesn't mean it necessarily has to reverse, just slowed the process down, right? And we saw sellers from the negative delta standpoint, aggressive sellers got absorbed here, and then down here they were exhausted. Okay, there's no more selling to be done, and there was more selling to be done earlier in the week. So we had an absorption. I would think that we're probably going to be ranging. Probably break the high, come back down, retest this low. So if anything, I would probably be looking for shorts around on S&P around 78, 76.94. 76.94. Oh. And what we did here was use CVD to see who was in control. We also looked at this deeper delta that shows us where buyers stepped in. Still, even at the top, still buying pressure at the top, and prices still trying to move higher. Had some sellers try to step in right here, and they got worked. We used our weekly and daily profiles to set some realistic targets and stops along with market structure. And we looked at a little real-time order flow with volume on DeepDom, the visual depth of market tool, and we actually took some trades on it. So overall, it was a pretty good night. We made $140 on MNQ. Not too bad. Let's cancel out, make sure we're not in any positions. We didn't trade S&P even though we looked at it. Then we have gold. And it's like gold is trying to make some new highs. Sorry, I really screwed this up. It's the lows. Getting higher lows. And on the shorter term, lower highs. But we're about to break through. We also made $60 on take profit and nothing on Apex. So good day, good night of trading. But I think I'm done. We also looked at footprint charts just to kind of see inside the candles, but I didn't talk too much about that today. Have some fun. Spend some time off the charts, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out. Happy trading, everybody.